particular to draw to your attention the fact that we have now in our midst a very great personality whose effect on hundreds of thousands of people around the world has been quite dynamic and in many respects unbelievable. Now the Russians have flooded into Sahaja-Yoga. The Europeans, in 64 countries, it's operative. It's a very, very big undertaking in India. And it's on these occasions that one realizes the immense importance of the individual life and the collective life, and how these are now coming together in a very, very positive way. When our friend Stephen here was talking to you about the nature of the inner quality of the dynamic which we call the Kundalini and the chakra system, that we are looking at something which has been embedded in human beings and has been awakened through the great historical periods by dynamic and highly spiritual avatars. Each of these chakras represents a stage in human development, and they are all there in every human being. Not only that, the power of the Kundalini is a system that we are looking at something which has been embedded in human beings and has been awakened through the great historical periods by dynamic and highly spiritual avatars. Each of these chakras represents a stage in human development, and they are all there in every human being. Not only that, the power of the Kundalini is so, as it were, spread throughout the whole of the human race, and its importance is so great that when once it's awakened, all those distinctions of race, of class, of wealth, of poverty, of importance in society are eliminated, and the human being can, for the first time, actually move into the consciousness of what the real self is, not the self which sits on the surface, the self which belongs to the ego and the emotions, but the real self which is hidden deeply in the unconscious. And these two things, the dynamic of that Kundalini awakening and the entry into consciousness of the operations of the real self, which in fact is linked with all other human beings and all life, is one of the great opportunities offered in this very critical time at the end of the 20th century. Now this history, if you like, of the human being in our civilization has been one from this operation, as it were, of the left side to the dynamic of the right side. The left side with its emotion, its particular quality of civilization, has taken quite a number of centuries. If you look at human beings in our Western world today, they're functioning with this ego, the personal consciousness, and the dynamic of the right side, or if we use a Sanskrit term, the Rajo Guna, dynamic and externally oriented. And when one takes one's attention away, as it were, withdraws it from that externality, one has the chance in meditation to reach the real center. If you look at the history of civilizations, you'll find that it's either the left or the right side through great periods of time that's been dominated in the way people act and behave. In our centuries, the acuteness of the ego is so great that the ego now feels itself totally cut off from life, from other human beings, and from the whole web of existence. And the ecological problems which exist in our external world and in nature, wrought by an industrial society, an expression of the fragmentation which has gone on within the human being internally. Now, Sahaja Yoga offers that wonderful opportunity of bringing consciousness back into the center. We have never really tried as a civilization to operate in the dynamic of the ascending mode, which is this pathway here. And the purpose of the Kundalini is to pass through and awaken and cleanse each of the chakras within this system, and ultimately to provide the total experience of what the self really is. And that self is collective. It's not something which we can call the individual I anymore. It's something which is deeply embedded in the whole totality of existence. Now, Sri Mataji is a remarkable figure who, in hundreds and thousands of instances, has brought this realization to people all over the world. It is no longer an individual thing for a few people with a guru. It is now something to be experienced within the consciousness of modern man in vast numbers. In fact, the very existence of large numbers of people enhances the experience of this collective realization principle. So I have the greatest pleasure in introducing this figure of world importance in the field of yoga, Sri Mataji Nirmala.
I bow to all the seekers of truth. At the very outset, we have to know that truth is what it is. We cannot change it. We cannot transform it. And unfortunately, at the level of human awareness, we cannot know it. The reason is, as they have explained to you already, that these two things called conditionings and the ego are covering up our brain. Apart from that, we are not connected to the all-pervading power, which is the love of God. In these modern times, to talk of God is something out of date. And also, there are many people who have talked about God, established religions, established all kinds of huge, big organizations, and people have discovered that there's no truth in it. It's not based on truth. Though the incarnations, prophets, all of them have been expressing nothing but truth, manifesting nothing but truth. But somehow or other, all these organizations have deviated. And what is the reason for that? The reason for that, a simple thing which was important, is that one has to go beyond this human awareness through their self-realization, through their second birth, or as Walihood, as they call it in Islam. This was not at all attempted, nor the attention paid to such an important thing that we have to get our self-realization, that we have to be connected to this all-pervading power of God. That's why they deviated into, I think, 2-3 things. Firstly, it deviated into money orientation. It became a thing where people must make money. And such horrible things they have done. It's surprising how could they do it when they were professing truth. The second was that they wanted to have power. They did it for power, so they mixed up politics, things, that, such a mixture of things. But they are not spirit-oriented. They didn't work out that you have to be the spirit. Now this mechanism exists within you. I say so, but you shouldn't take it for granted. You shouldn't believe me blindly. But you must experience yourself, if it is so. Like a hypothesis, you can accept what I am saying. But supposing I prove it, then you have to accept it as honest people. Because it is for your benevolence, the benevolence of this Australia, benevolence of the whole world. This is what we have been waiting for all these days. This is being promised to us in all the scriptures. But instead of seeking that, people have deviated into businesses or into political organizations, which is a very unjust, unfair treatment to divinity. This divinity resides within you all, as shown here, is within you. This power is within, is your own power. Maybe I just trigger it like one enlightened light can enlighten another light. But is within you, residing just like a primule in a seed. And whatever powers you get afterwards, when you are connected to the mains, are also within you. You are not to feel obliged to me, nor am I in any way obligated to you. It's just that it is your own, this is your own property, and that the key has to be found. Of course, you can't pay for it. One must understand you can't pay for a higher awareness. What can you pay? It's something so natural. It's a living process. And what do we pay to this Mother Earth for sprouting a seed? She doesn't understand even. So you can't pay for it. First of all, understand that it is not something material that you can buy, but it's your own energy which has to manifest it. Tomorrow, of course, I am going to tell you about what is the nature of the Spirit. But today, I have to just tell you one thing, that this Kundalini is within you. And when she rises, she definitely solves your physical, mental, emotional problems, also your material problems. But above all, your spiritual urge. They say that in this Kali Yuga, Ghor Kali Yuga, these modern times, this work will be done. It's already being predicted. That people who were seeking the truth in the hills and dales will find it within themselves as ordinary householders. And that's what I find is so easy. The time is such that it's working out in such great numbers. Surprisingly, in a place which we call the country called Russia, where they had never heard about God. They were not supposed to think about God. They were not supposed to even utter the word God. Where thousands and thousands have got realization. And such seeking, I was wondering what is the thing that they have, that they should, in thousands should come to these lectures of mine, and I had to arrange them in stadiums, never in a hall like this. And the way they got their realization is very surprising, how they got it. Because they said, Mother, we have nothing to do with spirituality. We never heard that there is something higher than this human awareness. And how do we get this? I said, there must be something special about it. And the special about them, I think, that they were kept out of materialism. They have everything provided for whatever is necessary. Moreover, they are very introspective by nature, extremely introspective. If you read their writers like Tolstoy or anyone, even the hero will introspect himself. This introspection has brought forth such personalities that they are finding one thing in common, that they haven't found out the absolute truth. Whatever they know is on the relative terminology. Even the science they think is all the time changing, is nothing of a permanent nature. And when I addressed the scientists, they said, Mother, tell us everything else, but not science. We had enough of it. So this is what it is. that we have to see also what all these enterprises we have entered into. Like science, what has happened to us? Today we have created a big devil there at a bomb, and here a hydrogen bomb sitting on our head. We have created those devils and they are frightening us. We have created these ecological problems. We have created these political problems, economic problems ourselves. That means they haven't found the absolute. So this human being has to be transformed. This transformation once takes place, we become the spirit. It's question of becoming. It's not just giving a sermon or a lecture or anything like that. It should happen to you. From this human awareness, you have to become a higher personality, which is a spiritual awareness. This can happen very easily. Sahaja means also very easy, simple. Also it means born with you. So you all have a birthright. You are born with this birthright to get your self-realization. For that, you do not have to pay, do not have to exert. It's absolutely effortless. And also, you do not have to think about it because it is beyond thinking. So many things people are talking about, so many theories. They talk of capitalism, communism, thisism, thatisms. Goes on like a yarn out of the brain comes out and everybody gets engulfed. Once it is written down, it becomes a Bible, people start following it. But of no avail. Only compartments have been created. You are this, you are that, you are a Christian, Hindu, Muslim, this, that and all that, into compartments. Human beings are divided by all this thinking. You are a communist, you are a capitalist, you are this, you are that. You are not. You are a human being to begin with, and you are the pure spirit. And if the spirit is a reflection of one God, then how can we be separated? How can we put into some compartments? We are part and parcel of one God Almighty. The microcosm has to become the macrocosm, that's all. This happening has to take place, where the drop of your personality has to become one with the whole. Also, the concept of individuality is so wrong. This concept of individuality that we have is against the spirit of the whole, absolutely against the spirit of the whole. But individuality, the way nature is individual in the sense every leaf is different from another leaf, every flower is different from another flower to look at. But in its nature, it is just the same. It comes from the same source. In the same way, we have to become the spirit, though we may dress up separately, differently. In Sahaja Yoga, nobody is wearing funny dresses, you see, like regimentation or some sort of a orange dress or nothing of the kind. It's not the dress that matters. It's something very much inside and innate. So the innate religion has to be awakened. Unless and until that innate religion is awakened, you may be a Christian, Hindu, Muslim, anything. You can commit any kind of sin, any kind of murder, any theft, anything. That is all absolutely against the collective. Nothing stops you. That means whatever you are professing is just outside, just mental. Nothing has gone inside. Even if you are educated in that, you have seen the priests, you have seen the mullahs, you have seen all these people, they are so well educated, they do the same. What's wrong there? When they know this is right, why don't they do what is right? The reason is they haven't got the power of the Spirit. In the light of the Spirit only, you become what you profess. You walk what you talk. We don't have to tell anyone that you do this or do that, because they have the light. In their own light, they see the same thing, understand the same thing. They know what is right and what is wrong, and what is good for you, what is for your benevolence. Of course, the raising of this Kundalini, as I told you, many diseases can be cured physically. We have 3 doctors in Delhi, those who have got MD after doing their MBBS. In the subject of Sahaja Yoga, they have cured people of some incurable diseases. And now there are 7 doctors in England. Also we have doctors here, 2 or 3, who are collecting data to show how Sahaja Yoga can cure you without wasting your time into something that we call as the medicines and all artificial things. So many things can be done with your own power. You don't have to depend on anybody else. But the cleansing part of your being takes place when you become collective, when you are together. Like supposing a nail of mine is broken, it won't grow. It will be just left at the same point where it was thrown out. In the same way, if you are collected, the whole body of spirituality will cleanse you completely, will manifest all your powers, will give you what you are worth. You have to know your glory. You have to know your beauty. And no use condemning yourself that I am a sinner, I have done this wrong, that wrong. After all, you are human beings. And as human beings, we are supposed to commit mistakes. We are not gods. So those people who tell you that you are a sinner, this thing, that thing, should see their own sins. So please have no diffidence about yourself. No diffidence at all. I assure you, all of you can get realization if you can just get over your diffidence. It's one thing, we have to accept that we are human beings and we are the epitome of evolution. We have evolved up to this stage and a little more is needed, which is very easy and should happen to you. It's already built in with you. It's already there. For example, see, this instrument is made, but if it is not put to the mains, it has no meaning. In the same way, you are to be put to the mains. And this all-pervading power about which what I am saying, we start feeling it for the first time. We see these beautiful flowers all around. We take them for granted. How have they come? Out of this Mother Earth, which looks so gross, and out of one seed? How these different flowers have come with different personalities? We take them for granted. All the living work, we take it for granted, even ourselves. Look at our eye, what a camera it is. Look at our brain, what a computer it is. We take it for granted. Why? Because we have no answer. We cannot say how. But in Sahaja Yoga, we will know how it works out. I hope you all will take your realization. And tomorrow again, I'll tell you all about the Spirit, what the Spirit is. You don't have to take me for granted. Again, I'm saying that. Blind faith is not needed. But as scientists, you must keep an open mind to test for yourself and see for yourself. It will hardly take 10 minutes, maybe 5 minutes also, for you to get your realization. There is no necessity for you to have any kind of a reading done or any kind of a penance done. As long as a human being, you are a human being, and that you desire very strongly your self-realization, nothing more is needed. This Kundalini is the power of your pure desire. All other desires are not pure because they are never session. So this pure desire should be in your heart, that I should get my self-realization and let all my powers manifest. I think we can have some little time for questioning, but please don't ask me unnecessary questions to waste time for everyone, because it's easy to answer because I am not quite an expert. I've been working on this for 21 years and I know all the Western minds, how they work, and the Eastern minds, how they work. And I can answer all your questions. Still, I would request you that it's not important. Even if I answer you, even if you are satisfied mentally, Still, it's no guarantee that your Kundalini will rise. Main thing is that your Kundalini must rise and you must get your self-realization, which is the actualization of baptism. Is actualization. It is not just putting my hand on your heads and say that now you have got your realization or you have got your baptism. This is what it is. So I would request you, if you have any questions, to ask. Please. Thank you very much.